So when talking about media analysis, are anime's primary or secondary sources because they're adapted from manga? Well, that depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about the manga, they are secondary sources, and they're not as valid as citing the manga itself. If you're talking about the anime, they're the primary source, and they are the most valid source. You gotta remember, even though a manga and an anime are telling the same story, they are two different pieces of media. So you have to specify what you're talking about when you're talking about it. If you are, say, analyzing the story of One Piece as it is shown in the manga, then yeah, anything that is said in the anime or live action or anything like that doesn't matter as much as what is said in the manga. However, if you are talking about One Piece as it is presented in the anime, then the manga wouldn't be a very good source. It's like this. Let's say we were analyzing The Little Mermaid, okay? You have to specify, are we talking about Disney's The Little Mermaid? Or are we talking about the original fable? Because one is super dark and the other is a Disney movie. And you can't really use stuff from one to talk about the other. I mean, you could be like, oh, I can see how Disney ended up adapting this. You could say, I see where this secondary source comes from, but you couldn't use the Disney movie to be an authority on the original fairy tale. You get what I'm saying? And this makes things a little sticky because often people don't say what they're talking about when they're talking about anime. They act like One Piece or Dragon Ball or Naruto or really anything is just this weird platonic ideal, an amalgamation that like exists somewhere out in the universe but isn't one individual media. But like that doesn't exist. That's not a real thing. The only thing that exists are media as we know it, and you have to specify what it is. If you're talking about the manga, say you're talking about the manga. If you're talking about the anime, say you're talking about the anime. And the manga is its own primary source, and the anime is its own primary source. Because even though the anime may be based off of something someone wrote, it's also interpreted differently, it's drawn differently, it has a different set of creative minds that go into it. So it's not going to be the exact same creative process as the manga, and thus it may tell a slightly different or even vastly different story.